All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And I want to thank everybody for attending. And for those of you that didn't get a chance to attend, I am recording your call. So that way you'll be able to come back and watch it a little bit later. Um, I'm going to start putting out, I guess, a pre-announcement video, kind of letting you know what the topic's going to be about, and any announcements that'll start being like in a text, and that'll be really, really quick. And then I'm going to still do the, I guess, this particular webinar. And if you can attend, that's great. If not, I will then follow it up with the link, and then you can turn around and watch that, at your leisure, because I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel. So with that said, I hope everybody had a good week, and I hope that your week was productive. I hope that you were able to really kind of sit down and work on those particular outcomes that you needed in order for you to get your business to the next level. My goal here is to provide you the level of support, content, structure that will allow your business to be profitable. At the end of the day, that's really what my motivation is to help you to be profitable, help you to make a profit, help you to grow your business, grow your revenue, grow your subscriber base so that you can be profitable. I'm just going to be very transparent as to what the end game is. For me, it's all about, are you profitable or are you not profitable? Because in terms of measurements and outcomes, I feel as though that if I put all the work in order to help the right work in to help your business to be profitable, then we're going to achieve that, right? And so I'm not working for anything else. So everything that I do is going to be with the intent. What my must-have, need to haves is so that you are profitable. So what I'm going to talk about in this here short period of time is the three. When we start talking about creating content, and I know that a lot of times, I mean, hell, even I struggle with this in terms of creating content. But the thing about content is that the best form of content, and this is something that my mentor told me this week, the best form of content is the work that you're already doing. If you are creating products, to ship and to sell, that's your best form of content. If you are working on houses and going out to view houses, that's the best form of content. If you're in school to get your real estate license, that's your best form of content, because what that allows is that for your audience to now get to know you, to see a real side of you, to see that you're putting the work in, and to see, kind of what your processes are like. So your best form of content is always going to be the work that you're doing, because now you can show also the deliverables, okay? That here were the action items, here are the results. And now a person can go back and follow your content along the way and now see, okay, yeah, this guy does know what he's doing, because he's sitting there, or man, this girl, she does know what she's doing. She helping all these people. She's selling all this her product. So yeah, she does know what she's doing, versus you just kind of walking in blindly and not giving a person a chance to get to know you, expecting them to expecting from them to buy something from you. And it just doesn't work that way, and then, we get upset because, well, the person didn't buy from us, like, because our product was the best product in the world. Well, no, they don't know you, and because they don't know you, they're not going to buy from you, right? So what I would suggest is that if you're in school, if you're making your products, whatever you're doing, document that. Just document it. you know I've gotten it to where now literally I'm doing that, and it's actually working. I'm documenting the work that I'm putting in, so therefore you guys will be able to see it, and now I can put that in the form of video, and then now you can follow me. So this particular video that I'm doing now, it's just documenting the class that I'm doing, and now someone will be able to watch that and now follow me, right? So There are three types of content that you have the ability to create. One of them is called shareable content. Shareable content is impactful to your target audience and prompts them to engage others with it. Or and so they can now like it, they can share it, they can tag their friends in it. And so when we start talking about shareable content, the best forms of shareable content is something where you're teaching a person how to do it themselves, something about mindset, which, I'm always very big about mindset and being positive and things like that. And so you can really talk about mindset. You can do content where you're teaching something. You can do content where you're showing a person how to do it themselves. You can do content on personal development, on business development, on humor, and on thought reversal. Thought reversal is basically telling a person why they shouldn't do something. And then what that does is give you the ability to show them that they, instead of doing that, do this. And so these are the three types of content that you can share: how to, mindset, teaching, do it yourself, personal development, business development. And so what I do is I take a spreadsheet and I make a column for each one of these. And underneath that, underneath the heading, I sit down and things that, and part of my processes, or whatever my processes are, I then now list them accordingly or as it applies to this particular heading. So for example, how to, I have content on how to create your audience, right? I have content on how to how to launch a product. I have content on that. And so what I need to do is I need to generate and continue to generate and generate and generate and generate and create that type of content. It's all under how to. Mindset, I do a lot of times positive thinking, a lot of thought-provoking thinking. That's content that I can share, whether it's my own thought or mine. I have content that I do as far as teaching, like for example, this class. This class allows me to be able to teach on the specific topics or subjects, right? And so, and I have a column for each one of them, and I just list the work that I'm doing under the column. So therefore, now it gives me a roadmap or blueprint as to what I'm supposed to be working on, right? And so all of this is shareable. And now what it does is it allows, it creates a storyline, right? It creates a story for people to follow you, for people to like what you're doing, to people to understand you, for you to build trust with them. And pretty soon, you won't have to ask for the business. They will be asking you for the business. I mean, think about that. If a person likes you and they trust you, you don't have to ask them for business. They will come and ask you for business. But it's going to start with you putting out this shareable type of content. The next type of content that you can put out is called interactive content. Now, interactive content gets your audience to do something, to comment on it, to like it, whether it be a survey, polls, questions, contests, these types of things. So if you want to know, for example, if a particular audience demographic or age likes your product, that you're getting ready to launch, then what you can do is just put together a survey or put together a poll that says how many young women, between the ages of 23 would like this particular lotion. Okay. And you tell all the benefits of it. And based off of that poll or that survey, then whether that's, a product that resonates with your audience. If not, if it doesn't resonate with your audience, then you're going to know that as well. You can do questions, things that are thought provocative and getting people to think, right? So you can ask questions. But the more you get people to interact with you, okay, again, it builds that connection, because everything that you do in your business, especially when it comes to sales, first comes the interaction, right? First comes the engagement. First comes the getting to know you. First comes the trust you. And once you get those things nailed down, then now you don't have, like I said again, the sale now is secondary, but first comes down to trusting. Okay. And so this is where those questions, come in at, and you get people to engage with you, and then you get to have people engage with you. They will then now begin to share your content, like your content. And then once, again, like I said, once you get that, man, it's the next is just really easy to start doing, right? And so this interactive content is huge, right? Because once again, you get that engagement. And if people are engaging with you, that lets you know that your message is resonating with them. The next form of content is your repurposed content. Okay. Now, repurposed content is going to be like anything that's long form. For example, like if you do like a speech or something. And what I like to tell, for example, one of the individuals, young ladies, young women that I coach, is that take something and do it. Take some content that you want to create and make it like an hour long. Okay. And just start talking about specific topics and subjects. And then what you do is you take now and you start cutting that content up. So say, for example, you do an hour long talk, you put that on YouTube, right? So that's one channel, right? That's one channel. Then you take that and now you cut it up. You put 30 seconds on your Facebook storyline, 30 seconds, make it really quick, right? That's two. Put it in your Facebook feed. Maybe put a video, a 2-minute video of that particular content, of that long content. Put it on your Facebook feed. That's 3 places now where that content lies. Then you go to Twitter. You can put a link back to your YouTube page. That's 4 areas where now you've put that content. Then you go to Instagram, and then now you have Instagram story, your Instagram feed, you have Instagram live, you have those 3 sources. Cut that up according to what is the recommended length, cut it down to that recommended length, and now post that. And now literally you've taken a 30-minute segment of something and you've distributed it to like 7 channels. So that way now creating content does not have to become a burden, right? And we don't want creating content to be a burden, because I myself, I struggle with it until somebody really just said, look, just really what you need to be doing is X. And if you do X, then you'll get the results that you want, right? So I'm going to go ahead and end on that note. And well, before I do that, let me just kind of, in conclusion, there are 3 types of content. There's shareable content, there's interactive content, and there's repurposed content. Each one of these here has a specific purpose. Each has a specific purpose, but the main purpose is to get you engagement, to get you to create a storyline, right? People like a story, right? And so if you tell them a story that takes them someplace, and now when they get and they say, okay, I see where he's going, and they can understand where you're going, and they can understand the value that they're going to receive from your story and from what you're doing, people are going to buy from you. But you first got to create a storyline, because if there's no story, there's no sales. Okay? So I want you to keep those things in mind. Take your time, go through this particular video, pause it, do whatever you need to do, and now just document stuff and document your thoughts, and kind of now start building out your content, right? So therefore now you can now start easily posting and feeling good and feeling secure and not anxious, about your content creation. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to now, let me finish that. I'm going to go through this high impact spreadsheet. This right here is this right here is going to be the primary, this is going to be our business model that we're going to use, that I'm going to build out and use, because I believe that I've taken a lot of business classes in the past, and what those classes fail to do is that they really fail to identify the necessary work that must be done or that needs to be done in order to be successful. So when I sat down and started thinking about this, and I'll be honest with you, where this came from is that we were using this in fact, my partner, she still does. we use this in our real estate business. And so what we were doing was, in order to help her to really identify what the customer's needs were, we came up which is, we call it a wish list. And in the wish list, she tells the person, okay, this is what you do: create your must-haves, your need to have, and nice to haves, and then give that to me. And then she'll tell them, now look, if you get 8 out of 10 on your list, if I can get you to find your house and has 8 out of 10 of these things, then that's the house for you. But where that came from was from a business class that I had taken. And it talked about the must-haves, need-to-haves, and nice-to-haves. And it's kind of sort of like stems from like what's called a SWOT: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Okay, a business analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. When I was a manager, I did SWAGs. I call them SWOGs: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and then we set goals. Okay. And so this particular form, and this is an example I'm going to go through, because when I sat down with my partner, she's a real estate broker. When I sat down with her and I showed her this, we went through, first of all, this first column is all her areas where she can earn income from within her business. These are all her income sources. She has rental and income. She has 2 types of rental incomes where they can come from. She has a contract where she gets rentals from, and then she has her own personal business. Then she does listings. She works with buyers, and then she does home makeovers. So these are all the sources. And then what I did was I said, we're going to now come over here to what is the price per item, meaning how much money does she make every time she does a sale. Well, in the rentals, she gets $400 for every rental that she does. On her rentals that she does for Premier Realty Services, she can average about $900 per rental. If she does one listing, on average, if she just sells a $275,000 house, she can get $7,200, and as well as for a buyer, and then about $6,400 for makeovers that she does. That's her commission. And now the question that I asked her was, what is the outcome that you want? How many of these here do you want to do? So what we did is that we simplified it and we made it. For example, with rentals, we said she needed 14. Okay, that's for this particular contract that she has, because she's averaging about 10. So what we did is we pushed that number up. Then for Premier Realty Services, she said 4. She said 1 listing, and then 1 buyer sale, and then a home makeover. And then the next thing we did was we started writing down what are the must-have things that she's got to be doing. 1, being more aggressive. She wanted to have a 5% conversion because she gets leads on this. Ask for referrals. Be more aggressive. And she's actually taken her list and built this out more, but this was kind of like the example that I showed her. Her need to haves were 100 leads, 1 app per day. She's breaking down the work that's got to be done, right? This must, because if she's doing this, she feels like that if she's doing these things here, that basically what's going to happen is that the outcome that she wants, which is to make more income, is going to be there, right? So then we also did nice to haves. We talked about, like, it would be nice if she could promote things on Facebook, run ads and things like that. We did a projection of what her income could be, right? What a projection, meaning that if she got the 14, if she got 14 rentals, this is what the projected income would be. This number right here, the income month to date, says that what is the outcome? So far, she's gotten 11. Okay. Actually, I take that back. So far, she's gotten 5 month to date. Okay. She's gotten 5 so far. At $400, that means that now she's up to $2,000. Her goal to hit is $5,600. And now what we're doing is simply tracking this. And I will tell you that I noticed and I watched her when we wrote this here down, and I'm going to have her to really kind of speak to this here in the next class. And really, because we're kind of testing it right now, I'm going to let her speak, but it's working like a charm. She's actually now being more productive and she's getting more rentals. Whereas that waiting the last 2 weeks of the month or the last week trying to hurry up and get stuff done, now she's working on the must-haves and the need-to-haves and the nice-haves every single day, focused, and writing this here down, and now diving in and staying focused. And anything that is outside of that focus of my must-haves, my need-to-haves, my nice-to-haves, it now is a distraction, and now she's not doing it. And so now she's actually hitting her goals, right? So her rentals, she's on target to hit her goals. She's got one buyer, she's got a buyer and a seller coming up, but that's not for this month. It's going to be for next month, okay? And then she's working on another home makeover right now. So watch this. Let me show you something. This is what's so crazy about this. When we did the projected income, when we added all this up, this piece right here is what shocked her. Is that, and she's not making $30,000 a month, but if she basically focused her energy, focused on the must-have things, the need to have, and focused and did the work, not doing all the other work, thinking that she was doing work. Now the income potential for the month is $30,000. And that's just doing one. And how I know this to be factually correct and that she can do it is because she was doing it before until she got off track and started introducing other things to the business that had her all over the place. She was already doing one of each of these here. And she hadn't even introduced rentals yet. So guys, this piece right here is very powerful. And it is going to help you to now concentrate and focus day in and day out on the things that you have to do. Because as I led into this topic, I said the outcome that I want, okay, the outcome that I want is for you to be profitable. Okay, I'm not doing anything other than, so every piece of content that I'm putting together, every piece of material that I'm putting together is designed specifically to meet that outcome. So that if you put the work in and you put the steps in and we have the processes in, that now you're going to be profitable. Okay, you're going to have a good brand where people recognize you, know you for who you are and what you are. You're going to have a large audience size now where you're going to be able to really have high conversion rates when it comes to your sales. You're going to then be launching successful products and they're going to be profitable. So again, this is going to be the basis, or the core foundation of Earn University, this particular form right here. And it's going to go through a lot of evolution. It's going to go through a lot of evolution, but in that regard, it's still going to boil down to what is the outcome that you want, what must happen, what need to happen, what's nice to happen. Let's project your income, and then now let's track it. Let's track your income. Because see right here, that's what I'm doing. I'm tracking this section right here. There's a section in here that allows for the income to be tracked. Okay, that's what I'm doing right here in this here section. I'm basically tracking. I'm tracking to see how well, and this is something that you will do. You can look at this daily. You look at it weekly. Okay, here's your tracking. Here's your projections, and now you're tracking. And now already in the first week of the month, she's already got 5. So if she stays on target, where she's at, that's going to be, look, $8,000 in income. Staying on track, right? And tracking. You got to track, because if you're not tracking, then you don't know if what the work is that you're doing is, if it's bringing you the results that you want. Right? And I think that to drill down into that, if you don't have a list of must-have action items that has to happen, you're not going to know. Need to have, you're not going to know. So, and then guess what? As you're doing the work, as she's doing the work, guess what? She's creating content along the way, because part of what she needs to do is to create content. Okay, it's not on here. Well, actually, on her listings, watch. She has to visit builders, need to promote on Facebook, check on past clients, do video tours, produce content. It's all these things that I need to be doing. Because once again, going back to the thing that we talked about in the beginning of the class, was how to create shareable content. And there's no other better way and no other better content than what people see you doing. that you're building that storyline. And if you're building that storyline and people get to see you doing it, then now that gives you credibility. That builds that trust, that builds that engagement. And then at the end, people are going to see that you're actually delivering results, and they're going to want those same results for themselves. And now guess what? You won't have to ask for the sale. People will ask you for the sale. You're not going to ask for any sales. People are going to come to you and say, I want to buy that from you. Why? Because what you did, you were documenting your process. You were documenting your process. So you're basically hitting this thing from both sides. You're tracking and measuring your results. You're documenting your process. You're staying engaged and focused on what it is that you need to be doing. One of my favorite stories, and our favorite things I heard Kobe said, he said that, I wasn't the smartest. I wasn't the fastest athlete. I didn't have the biggest hands. I didn't have the best vertical jump, the highest vertical jump. He said, but what I did was, he said, I outworked everybody else. I'd be at the gym at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't leave till 9. And anything that was outside of that, anything that was outside of talking about winning a championship and putting the work in, I was not listening to it. And then look, he's going to be in the NBA. Excuse me, in the Hall of Fame, 5 championship rings, a Grammy. Leaves a phenomenal legacy behind. But again, my daughter told me this. She said, Daddy, success leaves clues. So explain this here to me. How is it that you take high performance individuals like Kobe Bryant, like Bill Gates, like Warren Buffett, like Mark Zuckerberg, like Oprah Winfrey, all these here, Larry Ellison, the list goes on. You start naming all these high performance individuals. How is it that they, are producing all this here content? The only thing you got to do is go read their books and look at what they're doing. And guess what? Just do it. Just emulate it, because success leaves clues. It basically says, look, if I do this like this, and not reinvent the wheel, but if I do this like this, and I'm diligent and I'm focused, then what's going to happen is I'm going to get the outcome. Now, maybe I'm not a billionaire like Mark Zuckerberg, but you don't need to be a billionaire in order to be like happy. On average, the average person needs about $300,000 literally a year. And you can travel, you can leave somewhat of a legacy behind. Now, for me, like my goal for me is I want to create 5 million, and then my legacy money that I'm leaving behind is 10 million. I'm trying to create 5 now, and then I'm going to leave a legacy behind of 10. And that 10 is cash flow. 10 million a year cash flow for my daughters. But it starts with this. It starts literally right here. It starts right here. What is the outcome that you want, and what's the work that's required? So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end on that note. I hope that you gain value from this. What I want you to do is that now, after you finish watching this here, go back through it, listen to it again. Take your time with this. If you're at the beauty shop, you're at the, getting your hair cut, whatever the case may be, take your time, listen to it, go through it. Then what I want you to do is come back, reach out to me. Let's discuss your questions. Let's discuss building this. That way now, what you will be able to do is start, okay? You can, on your mark, get ready, set, go, right? You'll be able to start. And so at this point and at this juncture, here's how this goes. It's really boils down to this, right? Either you got your outcome that you want. You want to recruit 50 people for your organization because you're in a network marketing group. You want to recruit 50 people. All right, that's nice. Now, but however, when we start thinking about what must happen and then what needs to happen, are you putting that work in? Because see, you can show up to the dance and don't know how to dance and just stand on the side of the wall, which I never understood when I was going to the clubs, why girls would go to the club and you go ask them to dance. They're like, I don't want to dance. Well, girl, you've been standing here all night long up against the wall. So, you know, it's really now going to start boiling down to this: accountability, self-accountability. Because you know what? It really is time out for inspirational stories. It really, you know, it's time out for inspirational stories. This thing boils down to now basically accountability, self-accountability. And if you got self-accountability, then nobody needs to motivate you. Nobody needs to, you know, prompt you and prime you and do all these here things. Because, you know, so with that said, I'm going to go ahead on and end the video portion of this here. And looks like we got some people that's online, and we're going to start our discussion. But let me end this video portion.